What's up? So my daughter asked for a guitar for her birthday. Her birthday is this weekend coming, August 28th. So got her this Jackson Minion Dinky. She wanted a Go Raider guitar. So we got the black and silver finish. Back of it's nice and clean. Crafted in China, so we'll see how that goes. But for a beginner guitar, I played through it a little bit already and it's not too bad. So, but it does need a setup dreadfully. I don't know if you can see the fretboard on it, it's just incredibly dry. So, get these strings off here. Put a new set of strings on this bad boy. Put a little setup on it so it'll be ready for this weekend. And my wife keeps saying that if any one of my kids are going to be interested in the guitar, it's going to be Aria, so we're going to find out. She does seem to show a little more interest in lyrics, so there is that. Probably need to do this to lyrics guitar too. And I will eventually. That's something fun to do. You know, these strings on here are crap, of course. But the frets are nice and the fretwork is actually not bad. There's no jagged edges on here to file down, maybe a couple here and there, but it's actually pretty good. Fret markers look good. Reverse shark fin inlay. And there's even one at the first fret, which I think is pretty cool. Neck feels good. It's a little thick for my taste. I think you could expect that from a beginner guitar. I like the white logo, although it could have been silver. Would have been a little cooler. Get all this plastic and stuff off here too. That's funny. She said that she wanted a Go Raider guitar with beer stickers and Metallica stickers. So she's a funny kid. I don't know about, I mean, I guess it would look cool with a nice Heineken logo or something on it. A little tribute to Jeff Heineman. Yeah, definitely need to oil these, oil this fretboard and this little shitty bridge. Well, like I said, it's a good beginner guitar, I think. Small scale, good for their hands. All right, let's get these crappy strings out of here. Get some Ernie balls, some hybrid slinkies on this guy, huh? This plastic off this pickup here. Look at that, huh? It looks pretty good. Show that headstock there. I like that. Headstock's cool. Black hardware, big plus. That's one of the reasons I fell in love with it when I first saw it. Plus it matches my Silver Burst. She's gonna look just like that, right? that guy back up there. All right. Where were we? Oh, let's clean this guy off a little bit. A little bit of polish in there. Yes, indeed. Got this from Guitar Center somewhere. It was very well packaged. They did a really good job packaging it up, you know, for a guitar that doesn't come with a case. Pretty impressed with that. Of course, my wife opened it. I didn't even get to open it. I would have done like an unboxing reveal thing, you know. But she beat me to the punch, man. She's always opening the mail first. It's garbage. Alright. That looks pretty good. Now let's get some conditioner on this board. The Dunlop 65. It's not real lemon oil. I heard that's bad for them. I don't know. I just heard this was pretty good, so that's what I went with. I'm no fretboard guru by any means. What I use on all mine, and they seem to do a pretty good job. All right. Let's just work that in there. It's going to be playing great in no time. Fretboard was super dry, but it was just drinking this stuff up. Let's put a little more. Probably not real rosewood. I don't know what they use these days. Rich light or something like that. I don't know what would be on here. Probably something stained rosewood color, maybe. But that looks a lot better. Looks nice and conditioned. Can you tell the difference? Yep. Looks nice and hydrated. Mucho better already. Look at this guy, huh? Better already. Yeah. Get these new strings on there and we'll get a nice setup on the action and all of that good stuff. I'm mostly used to locking tuners. All my guitars have locking tuners on them now, but I think I can remember how to do wind up tuners. Like I said, it's been a long time. Let's just see. Hold on a second. What's that? Oh my. Alright. One of those little pins come out of the bottom of it, huh? I might have to glue that back into place. I think it'll stay in with the string, I suppose. Alright. That's one thing Lyric's guitar never had on it was real strings. He's just gonna bang around on him anyway. But I want to make this one look as good as possible for the old buggers, you know. This nut might need filing a little bit. Grab my toolkit. Yes, indeed. Got some nut filers here. All right. Yes. File that down a little bit. Some of that crap out of there. Plastic nuts, you know, sometimes leave a little bit of gunk behind. And that can bind the string up, keep it from staying in tune. So you want to get that out of there. Yes, indeed. I remember my first guitar was not electric. It was a little acoustic guitar, and that's what I learned my first chords and things like that on. And one day I got in a fight with my brother, smashed it. I think I tried to hit his head and he hit it with his foot, broke in the backside. Brothers will be brothers, right? That feels a little better. Those daggone G strings, man. Don't get those filed out. Gets you every time. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay. All right, I think that's pretty good. Now let's see if this is. I remember how I did this. So I learned this from a friend of mine when we were just messing with some guitars one day, and I don't know if I think we were changing strings on one of my old guitars, and he taught me to just kind of hold the tension tight, and as you turn, I always went one over on the top, wrap one on the top, and then the rest goes on the bottom. And that's how I did all of my strings for the longest time. Okay. All right. A little stretchy stretch, keep them seated. Okay. All right, let's do some more. I think I forgot to trim the end off of that one first. So normally what I would have done is, I just remembered, like I said, I haven't been doing regular tuners for a long time. But what I used to do, and I forgot this step, is I would take and measure X amount like this, and then when I fed it through, I would just feed it through a little bit instead of all the way like I did that one. That's better. So this is going to create a lock. Yeah, I remember now. So 1 over, if you can see what I'm doing here. So when you put the string in, I just held my finger right there until it got almost all the way around, and then I'll pull it out of the way So the first revolution that goes around is going to be leave the string on the top side of that little piece. And then the next one, as this comes around, will go under, and then it'll keep just spooling around under that. And that's how we created our sort of locking mechanism without real locking tuners, because who could afford that back then, right? We had telemarketing jobs. Telemarketing jobs didn't pay jack. It was not a good time working there, I tell you. This is Aaron Casey calling on behalf of WorldCom Wireless to sell you a cell phone that you don't want with a really crappy plan. So yeah, that was quite possibly the worst job ever. And obviously the next go around I'm going to need to make these strings a lot shorter, because this is a lot smaller scale guitar and it is going to need a hell of a lot of lines to wind all this string up. Trying to get this done before my kids wake up. Don't want her to see what I'm doing down here, you know, obviously. I mean, she kind of picked it out, so she sort of knows it's coming, but needs to be some kind of surprise, right? Here we go. So that's getting nice and tight, looks good. Let me clip the end off of this one. She's not going to be doing any wild soloing. That'll knock a string out of tune, so I think our high E string's going to be okay. That's a lot better. All right, let's do exactly that 4 more times. That is much better. Man, I really did forget how to do my string technique. It's the luxury of having locking tuners on every one of my guitars. But I do have a bass now that doesn't have locking tuners on it. Do basses have locking tuners? I don't know much about basses. I suppose they could. Is that a necessary feature? I guess it would be cool for the bassist. All right. Some massive thunderstorms this morning here in the good old WV. That's what woke me up, was all that lightning outside. So once again, as I said, go over on the top, and then the rest of the wraps will be under. A little piece that sticks out. I will bring the camera in for a little close-up of what I'm talking about, and you'll see the end result. On this one, it's a pretty good visible. Get in the nut string. There it is. Alright, come check this out. Alright, so right in there. Getting closer. See how it creates that little gap there? That's sort of how we felt like it was locking our strings down. Like that. Well, always worked for me. Here we go. Let's get back up here. Get back to work, huh? Alright. Back to work. Okay. So we've got our G string on now. Time for the D. All right. Kind of miss doing these old classic setups, you know? It's just the old tuning, or the old kind of tuning pegs. That's a lie. Locking tuners are much better. But it's important to know how to do it. Especially for a lot of the vintage guitars. If you play vintage guitars or older guitars, that was the last one that I had that had this standard style of tuner on it. I had that 95 Les Paul Studio. You can see in some of my other videos, and it had the very Gibson Cluson style pickup or tuning picks. Indeed. I guess before that, the last one I had that didn't have locking tuners, maybe my PRS, my first PRS SE, that solid black one. And I had that Ibanez Iceman for a little while. It didn't have locking tuners on it either. That was a pretty cool guitar, gotta tell you. I'm not a big fan of string through body guitars. I like the stop tail. Sort of my thing, easy to set up. For me, it's much easier to set them up than it is anything else. Floyds or regular bridges alike, these are just better. Just so much easier to work with than these things. But alas, I did learn how to do some setups on these fixed bridges. Not the best at it, but we'll see what we can come up with. That is a particularly tight gear machine. I wonder. It's not a bad thing. Okay. Nice tight pull on that string while you wind. We are almost done. We have one more to go. The 46. These are, what I'm putting on here is hybrid slinkies. This one here in the gold pack. It's 9 to 46, 9, 11, 16, 26, 36, 46. This gauge always felt really good, but I recently found they do a sort of almost like in between gauges, and I found, and that's what I put on my Silverburst guitar last. It's called Ultra Slinky, and the Ultra Slinkies are 9.5 for the E, and they go up to 48 on the top string, so a little extra girth. Get a little extra flap up there at the top, sounds pretty good. A little extra tightness. Us metal guitar players, we need a little extra tightness, you know. That's like Hetfield's using those 11 to 50s for standard stuff. That's about where I'm at now. I mean, I got the, like I said, I use the 48s, and I like them. They're pretty cool. Like I said, I've been using this hybrid slinky for a while, I used to use Diodario exclusively for years. That's all I played was Diodario strings. And one day, I actually told the guy who was setting up my guitar, I was like, you know, man, I really want these Diodario strings in there. And he was like, those suck, essentially. And so he put some Ernie balls on one of my guitars, and he wasn't wrong. I mean, I fell in love with them, and I've been using Ernie balls ever since. It's been about, oh gosh, I don't know, 10 years now, something like that. So about 10 years I've been using Ernie balls, and they have a certain brightness that I enjoy, a little bit of a snap with the high gain that I just didn't, I guess I don't remember even having with Diodarios. I mean, let's face it, the only reason I ever used Diodarios was because years ago in the 90s I read that that's what Dave Mustaine used, and if it was good enough for Dave, it was good enough for me. So, some little stretchies on here. But other than that, I mean, I didn't know anything about tones or certain wines and all of that. I just used them because he did. Which really didn't make sense either, because my heroes, well, I guess Dave was one of my heroes, but James, my biggest hero, was an Ernie Ball guy. Still an Ernie Ball guy. Might try one of his signature sets one time, but I don't like that really heavy lower end, or the top end. I don't really like the E and the E, B, and G strings being really heavy. I find it harder to do leads on. I'm not like the best lead guitar player or anything, but I find it more difficult to do bends and make it sound good. Maybe I just have weak fingers. That is very well could be true. Let's give this a few more stretches and we'll hook it up to a tuner. All right, we're gonna pause. We'll hook this up to a tuner and get it stretched, and then we'll start on intonation. All right, I got them nice and stretched on them, and so I got some Allen keys, and we'll start working on this intonation on it. It's not terrible whenever so I'm on the E string here. That one's going to be pretty solid. I'm a little bit sharp. Back it down a little bit. Okay. Alright, it might need to come back just a little bit. Grab my screwdriver. So we'll loosen, take a little bit of the tension off. Bring it up just a bit, so we'll put it back in pitch and see which way, see how it went. So we're back to E standard. All right, that's pretty darn good. Move on to the B. Alright. Alright, it's a little flat on the intonation, so we're gonna do the same thing. Let that go up just a little bit. Tune it back up. So when you move the bridge this way towards your pickup, that means the tuning is going to go up when you turn it back up. Most of you may already know that, but I've got some friends that watch these videos and they've got youngsters that are getting ready to do guitars, so something they can learn. All right, that's pretty close. All right, so the way to check it, I forgot to mention, what we do is you hit open, tune that to perfect pitch, then I do a harmonic on the 12, and that's in perfect pitch, and then I fret the 12th fret, and that's in perfect pitch. That's how you know you've got good intonation. All right, let's move on to the G string. That's pretty good. I think I'll ride that out. Let's move to the D. Alright, it's a slightly sharp, so we'll move it this way. Just a little bit. All right, that's perfect pitch. Let's do our A string. Okay. Sharp or flat. And flat, so we need to go this way. There's our A. Now it's a little sharp, so we went too far. Let's bring it back a piece. We have a half a turn. Check it again. There we go. Okay, it's pretty good. I'm happy with that. To our E string we go. Last one. It's going to be a little bit sharp. Not too much of a turn there. Too sharp. Still just slightly sharp, just a little bit more. Almost ready to try this bad boy out. All right, that's much better. Cool, let's see what it sounds like. I've got it plugged into my 5153. Ooh, a little out of tune there. Fresh strings to do it to you every time. I'm a stickler for being the most perfect pitch possible too. Guys in my band always used to hate that. So this is boosted. Let's just see what it sounds like without it. Not very high output pickups on this guy. Solo channel. It's a bit loud. Neck pickup sounds really nice. Well, I think overall she's going to be pretty happy with this. So, good little starter guitar for your young metal rippers. Thanks for watching. See you.